Should we begin or wait for 1 or 2 minutes?
We can start.
Okay, we'll begin. All right. So this is Chapter-1, the presentation on the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, and we are reading the purports of Srila Prabhupada, text 143. Sabalaya Kaila Gundicha Griha Sammarjana Ratayatra Darshane Prabhura Nartana. It's a very interesting pastime. First, the Lord washed the temple of Gundicha very thoroughly. Then everyone saw the Rath Yatra festival and the Lord's dancing before the car. Now, the car is a British way of describing the Rath in Jagannath Puri. With today's internet, you can always go on YouTube and see the Rath Yatra, the procession, how it begins. And Gundicha is a temple which is about 1 kilometer or so from the main Jagannath temple. So Jagannath temple, we have Krishna, Balaram and Subhadra. Krishna is Jagannath, Balaram is Baldev, and Subhadra Devi, their sister. So which basically means that Jagannath temple stands for Dwarka. And Jagannath also, although being Krishna, his mood of worship there is a mix of sentiments of Vrindavan plus Vaikuntha. So Lakshmi is his wife, technically. And when Jagannath comes out, and he promises that he will come back very soon, but as what happens with Krishna, when he comes to Vrindavan, he forgets everything. So the 7-day Rath Yatra festival, on the 4th day, it seems, Lakshmi comes there with her servants and demanding an explanation, like any wife with a righteous anger can catch the collar of her husband and said, you promised me you will come back, and you promised me you will clean up the house, you promised me you will do that, and everything is in a mess. Blah, 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 blah. And then the Jagannath servants and the Lakshmi servants, they clash. It doesn't happen nowadays. Somebody told me that previously it would be a nice festival of sorts, but now it is not so much. But then Jagannath promises, yeah, I'll come back, I'll come back, I'll come back. And then after 2 days, that means 4th day, 5th and 6th, 7th day morning, Jagannath begins his return journey. Now Mahaprabhu would be dancing in front of the cart when the Rath Yatra would begin. What would be Mahaprabhu's mood when Jagannath begins his journey back from Gundicha to the main temple, Jagannath Puri? He would be crying and crying and crying, and no dance, no jubilation, is not happy. In fact, the people are quite happy. The local people who come to pull the cart, they're very happy. They're very happy pulling it from A to B and B to A, points A to B and B to A, like Jagannath temple to Gundicha and Gundicha and back. Because it's a big festival and there are so many other things which happen, but Mahaprabhu would be behind the Rath. He would just be offering his pranams, he would be crying profuse tears. So this is a sutra, and this will help you in understanding Mahaprabhu's Leelas throughout your life. Who mentioned it? I think Gaur Govind Maharaj mentioned it. Of course, Prabhupada is the one who has given it, but he made it into a very nice sutra kind of thing. That sutra is like this. Be supportive of Mahaprabhu's mood. I'll repeat what I'm saying. Be supportive of Mahaprabhu's mood, and then you'll understand the sweetness of his pastimes. So sometimes devotees say Mahaprabhu is Krishna, so we should be giving him all the respects due to what we give to Krishna. So there was some kind of a discussion whether Krishna has a peacock feather. So should Mahaprabhu also have, because Mahaprabhu is Krishna. So Prabhupada seems to have said, no, but he's a devotee of Krishna. So we should support that devotional mood. And at times he said, yeah, we can give a peacock feather to him, or we need not give. Now just see, just like in a primary school, the teacher says something, and if the kids don't understand, there's a big controversy. So similarly, we in ISKCON also, after Prabhupada left, suddenly, like, Guru wants this, no, Guru wants that, what should we do? And there is always this thing to become more than the Guru. That also is a syndrome. Like somebody says, if your Guru wants water, but you say that, no, lemonade is better than water. Orange juice is much better than lemonade. But pure cow's milk is much better than anything else. Since I am the best disciple, I should be, and I can afford milk. I have a nice cow shed. I can get milk. So here is $1 million question. When the Guru wants water, should you give milk? Sometimes people say, yeah, why not? The Shastra says, give the best what you can to your spiritual master. And there are also other occasions where it is said that just obey his orders. Just obey him. He's saying water, give water. If he wants milk, you'll ask for milk. If the Guru says, develop this place and make a congregation as big as 50 families. And Radhika, if you make 500 families, are you displeasing him? No. So we have to use common sense. There are some instructions where, like if the Guru says, chant at least 16 rounds minimum. And you say, I'm sorry, Guru Maharaj, yesterday I chanted 2 more. Was it an offense? No, it's not an offense. You can chant unlimited rounds. So the disciplinary number is to protect your creeper, to protect your Bhakti Lata Beach. Please understand. Big time devotees can do big time service. And if we think that we are big time, that, that also is a problem. Others should feel like that. The mood always is of the Ramayana, where Hanuman is looking at everybody and says, I think I also cannot jump. So Jambavan says, no, you can. When others are saying they cannot, that's their reality. When you are saying you cannot, that's your humility. So therefore, since the path of bhakti depends so much on understanding of reality and understanding of emotions, don't feel bad. You will always slip into one particular area. In the sense, we may get too emotional or we may get too logical. And therefore, we need guidance. We always need blessings. And so I think you get my point. The point which I'm trying to say is Mahaprabhu should be respected. Mahaprabhu should be worshipped. How? Not by your own whims or what you feel, but by guidance from the acharyas. And that's how keeps everything safe. There are 2 or 3 occasions when Mahaprabhu is telling, once Ramananda Rai and once some other set of devotees, he says, who am I? I am a Mayavadi sannyasi. How do I understand Krishna? So some people say, hey, your Mahaprabhu himself is admitting he's a Mayavadi sannyasi. Why are you calling him Krishna? You see? So that's where all complications can take place. Of course, we may say, when you say Mahaprabhu is saying, I am Krishna, in the house of Srivas Thakur, he is saying, I am Vishnu. Will they accept that? Here he is saying Vishnu, accept him as Vishnu. They say, nah, that is just some sentiment. So therefore, we have to be alert, and anytime there is a doubt about something, clear the doubt in a very friendly atmosphere. Don't feel angry or dejected if some of your conceptions don't turn out to be true. We are learners, we are students, and that's how we keep ourselves, like lifelong. We will be many new things will be revealed as we progress on the path of bhakti. Okay, so that's my preamble for this one small thing. Text 144. Any questions or comments before I proceed?
So for support Mahaprabhu's mission, you said, right, Prabhu?
His mood. When he's telling about something, when he's saying, I lost Krishna, I have no love for Krishna. Should we take it literally? Oh, he has no love for Krishna, so why should I follow him? No. He is expressing love. That's how he's saying.
Sure, Prabhu.
Like that. So, text 144, Upavane Kaila Prabhu Vividha Vilas, Prabhu Abhishek Kaila Vipra Krishna Das. Now, this is something, a nice incident happened during the Rath Yatra. In the garden along the road from the Jagannath temple to Gundicha, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu performed various pastimes. A Brahmana named Krishna Das performed the bathing ceremony of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now, not much is given here, which Krishna Das and what kind of Abhishek he performed. It just says Abhishek is bathing. I will try to find out if there is any more references to this particular incident. Text 145. Kundichate nritya ante kaila jala keli, hera panchami te dekhila Lakshmi devir keli. Now what I mentioned comes here. Translation. After dancing in the Gundicha temple, the Lord sported in the water with his devotees. And on Hera Panchami day, they all saw the activities of the goddess of fortune. So, Gundicha temple is cleaned by the followers of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One day before the Rath Yatra, Rath Yatra is always in the morning to afternoon it begins, and by the evening time it ends. So, one day prior, the Gundicha temple is opened. It is almost closed for all the other days except for that 1 week when Mahaprabhu comes there. So Mahaprabhu cleaned it, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explained the cleansing of the Gundicha temple with a devotee cleansing his or her mind. We will come to that. So very nice elaborate description of how we should clean our own mind. So the devotees were very, very exhausted. All day long they were cleaning. They were all wet because they would bring pots and pots and pots of water from the nearby lake, and sometimes they would crash and the pots would break and there was a puddle of water all over. So then they cleaned everything, and in that exhausted state they went and took their bath. For those in the West, bath may be like a very rare thing, especially in very cold climates. Prabhupada came to New York, and one devotee, one boy would come regularly, and he was not seen after say 10, 12 days. Prabhupada said, where have you been? He said, oh, I went to take a bath. And Prabhupada said, take a bath? Does it mean that you don't take a day off? So Prabhupada was surprised. So coming from the tropics, here we have sadhus and holy people who take bath 3 times a day. Just imagine. Now, how is it possible? Well, it's possible if you live near a river or a lake and a large body of water. So no problems with that. Take a bath in the same clothes that you wore while you are doing something. Change your clothing, put those clothes on a tree branch or something, and then 1 hour or so the clothes are dry. I mean, once I saw in Kumbh Mela a sadhu, he had just one single piece of cloth he was wearing, just to cover his waist. And he went and in the cold, he took bath in the confluence of the three rivers. And he had kept one piece of cloth out on the bank. So he took that very skillfully. He removed the old one, put on the new one, then took out some ash from his bag and put ash all over his body. And the ash keeps you warm. I never saw anything. I never had done that. And he put on his tilak and off he went. I said, my God, everything like practically no luggage, no belongings. Whatever you have is on your person. You eat whatever is available, and then you did some meditation for some time. Well, that's how some people are. So these are the things which are very possible still in India. So the devotees went there, but this is Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So see, here is something which I have never experienced it, but I'm just sharing. One devotee, Giriraj Maharaj, was asked by a person on the streets that you Hare Krishnas, what do you do for fun? Like you chant and then you get up in the morning and then you read books and then you cook, clean, have festivals. So he said, Srila Prabhupada, I'm just asking, what do we do for recreation? Prabhupada said, we don't do anything except recreation. There is no work in Krishna consciousness. You say, really? Managing temples, managing yourself, managing a household, is it not work? It is. If you're sweating and if you are shouting at someone and people are failing to do what you have told them, that's work. So this is that barrier, that mental barrier, which we have to kind of learn how to understand this. Prabhupada was alone in Vrindavan, very happy. And then he comes out to New York, 2 heart attacks, starts his society. And he said, this management is simply headache, headache, headache. While he was in Mayapur, in Kolkata, a temple president from America flew in. And Prabhupada was told that he just came in and he's really insisting he should see you. And Prabhupada said, all right, all right. And he gave a big, lengthy complaint against his number 2 man in the temple. He said, not cooperative, what do I do? So in the afternoon, they said, Srila Prabhupada, you just keep calm, just translate your books, relax. And Prabhupada really got angry. He says, this man flew 14,000 kilometers just to complain some silly complaint about somebody in the temple. And you expect me to keep calm? How is it possible? He said, I have made this GBC. You all relieve me of management. Please. Only then I can translate my books. And one day, actually, he said, no more management. Don't bring to me any issues. You all sort it out. You're all senior people. So at 10 o'clock, he said, no more management. At 1 o'clock, one telegram came. And the devotee said, should we tell you about this, Prabhupada, or should we not tell you? And Prabhupada said, what is it? He said, well, in this American zone, this is happening and that is happening. So we thought that since you are now saying you should give up management, so we thought we'll sort out ourselves. Prabhupada heard the whole thing and said, no, come to my room. So this sannyas from management lasted only 3 hours. After that, heavily Prabhupada was into management. That's the nature of this world. What can you do? So Mahaprabhu's Lila, like they cleaned the temple of Gundicha, heavy, hard work. But the devotees say, no, it was not work. It was like, sometimes we say it's my duty. Sometimes we may say, oh, it was fun. Believe it or not, after every hard working session in bhakti, post that thing, you always feel that it was not that bad. It was not work at all. So the moment you feel that the work element comes in, That's the test that your devotional bhav is slowly coming down. Very sad and very sorry to say that. The rule is very simple. There is no work in Krishna consciousness. When we feel work, it means either I feel I am the doer or I feel I didn't get enough credit. So many things could be there, right from the beginner's situation to a very advanced devotee. In fact, the more advanced you are, the more you feel there was no work at all. I wish I could have done more. I wish I could have done things in a much better way. And the best thing is, Krishna, please give me a chance. I'll try to improve what I have done. That's like the best possible mental framework for any sadhaka in any service. So the point is, the cleansing of the Gundicha temple and then going in the Narendra Sarovar lake. And what do Mahaprabhu's devotees do? They play games, they splash water. It's like a huge festival. So from one sense of enjoyment to another sense of enjoyment, there is a Gopi shloka given to the Gopis of Vrindavan. That Krishna with you, it is a series of never-ending festivals. Nityotsavam, Nitya Utsavam. Nitya is eternal or continuous, and Utsavam is festival. Now I should tell you some reality. Sometimes I really get tired of festivities. You are tired of feasts. My God, yesterday feast, today feast, tomorrow also feast. Now that also makes me philosophical that look at you. You are such a miserable wretch that even if Krishna is giving you a series of festivals, you feel tired. What to do? So do you want a series of miseries? Well, welcome to the material world. It can give you a festival of miseries. Oh, I lost my job. Then my boyfriend left me. Then I got cancer. And then I lost my money. Then somebody mugged me and somebody robbed me. That's the story of the outside world. Is it not? The peace. Yesterday I was making some observation on some quotes about war. So these are not devotees, they are not highly philosophical people, but these are mundane politicians. And they also agree that like the conflict going on in Europe and trying to it's becoming bigger and bigger. So they say, what exactly is life? Peace is just a situation between two wars. You're tired of peace, you create war. You're tired of war, you clamor for peace. You never know what can give you proper peace. Is it not? So the choice is between eternal festivities and eternal misery. I think you would choose festivities even if they are tiring or whatever. No problems with that. So we go to text 46. Krishna Janma Yatra te Prabhu Gopa Veshahaila Dadi Bharavahita Bela Guda Phiraila. On Janmashtami, Lord Krishna's birthday, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dressed himself as a coward boy. At that time, he carried a balance with pots of yogurt and wheeled a rod about. This is another sweet thing. Janmashtami festival, all the devotees are celebrating Janmashtami. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dressed himself as a coward boy. That means he's telling everybody that I am a coward boy. I was born in this Brahmana family, but actually I am a coward boy. So it seems some devotee challenged him that you're not a coward boy. A coward boy has a stick, just to take care of cows. And what to do with the stick? So the boys would kind of use their hand and rotate it all around. So that is a skill test, whether somebody is a expert coward boy or not. So some of the devotees teased him that, all right, show us your skill with the coward boy stick. And to everyone's surprise, Mahaprabhu really wheeled it around so expertly that they all agreed, Oh, yes, you are indeed a coward boy. So that story also will come later. Next 147. Gaudera Bhakta Ganetabe Karila Vidai Sangera Bhakta Loya Kare Kirtana Sadai. Now comes the sad part. Translation. After this, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade farewell to all the devotees from Gauda Desh, that is Bengal, and continued chanting with his intimate devotees who constantly remained with him. So Jagannath Puri would be a group of two devotees, a huge group coming from Bengal and visiting him, and a much smaller one constantly staying with him. And when the time would come for saying goodbyes, it would be a heart-rending scene. When I was reading Untitled Lila, I think, Mahaprabhu would tell each and every one of them that you are all so dear to me that I am a sannyasi. How can I repay you for the love you gave me? I don't have any money. I am a renounced monk. All right, I have something. This body of mine is your property. If you want, you can sell it in any marketplace. Now imagine if Mahaprabhu says that, what could be the devotees' situation? They would cry, and it was time to leave. And Mahaprabhu would say, don't leave today. Stay for 2 more days, 3 more days, 4 more days. Every year it could be like that. And finally, after 6 or 7 days, they say, we have to go. So in a very, very emotional laden environment, the devotees would take leave and they would go, promising that next year will come again, next year will come much sooner. After they would leave, Mahaprabhu would stay as if in a state of shock. So the 18 years which Mahaprabhu stayed in Jagannath Puri, especially the last 8 years were almost, apart from these 4 or 5 months, he would always be in seclusion. He would just chant, chant, chant. And some of those things which he exhibited are seen to be the topmost expressions of devotion. That's what they are. Would someone like to read from text 148?
I would like to read, Prabhuji.
Please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Text 148. Vrindavana aite kala godera gamana prataparudra kaila pate vivada sevana. To visit Vrindavana, the Lord went to Gaudadesha, Bengal. On the way, King Prataparudra performed a variety of services to please the Lord. Puri Goshani Sange Vastara Pradhana Prashanga Ramananda Raya Aila Bhadraka Paryanta. On the way to Vrindavan via Bengal, there was an incident wherein some cloth was exchanged with Puri Goshani. Sri Ramananda Rai accompanied the Lord as far as the city of Bhadraka. Text 150. Asi Vidya Vachaspatira Grihate Rahila Prabhure Dekita Loka Sanghata Haila. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached Vidyavara, Bengal, on the way to Vrindavana, he stopped at the house of Vidya Vachaspati, who was the brother of Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu suddenly arrived at his house, great crowds of people gathered. Text 151. Panchadina deke loka nahika vishrama loka bhaye ratre prabhu aila kuliya grama. For 5 consecutive days, all the people gathered to see the Lord, and still there was no rest. Out of fear of the crowd, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left at night and went to the town of Kulia, present-day Navadvipa. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If one considers the statements of the Chaitanya Bhagavat along with the description by Lochandas Thakura, it is clear that present-day Navadvipa was formerly known as Kulya Grama. While at Kuliyagrama, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his favor upon Devananda Pandita and delivered Gopala Chapala and many others who had previously committed offenses at his lotus feet. At that time, to go from Vidyanagara to Kuliyagrama, one had to cross a branch of the Ganges. All of those old places still exist. Chinnandaga was formerly situated in Kuliyagrama, which is known as Korela Ganja. Text 152. Kuliyagrame Prabhura Suniya Agamana Koti Koti Loka Asi Kaila Darshana. Hearing of Lord's arrival in Kuliyagrama, many hundreds of thousands of people came to see him. Text 153. Kuliyagrame Kaila Devendare Prashada Gopala Viprera Kshamaila Srivasa Aparada. The specific acts performed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at this time were his showing favor to Devananda Pandita and executing the Brahmana known as Gopala Chapala from the offense he had committed at the lotus feet of Srivas Thakura. Excusing. Pashandi Nindaka Asi Padila Charane Aparada Kshami Tare Dhila Krishna Preme. Many atheists and blasphemers came and fell at the lotus feet of the Lord, and the Lord in return excused them and gave them love of Krishna. Vrindavana Ebena Prabhu Suni Narsimhananda Pata Sajila Mane Paya Ananda. When Sri Narsimhananda Brahmachari heard that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go to Vrindavana, he became very pleased and mentally began decorating the way there. Kuliya Nagara Haite Pata Ratne Bandhaila Nivranta Pushpa Saya Upare Phatila. First, Narsimhananda Brahmachari contemplated a bow road starting from the city of Kuliya. He beckered the road with jewels, upon which he then laid a bed of stemless flowers. Phate dui dike pushpa bakulera shrini madhye madhye dui pashe divya pushkarini. He mentally decorated both sides of the road with bakula flower trees, and at intervals on both sides he placed lakes of transcendental nature. Text 158. Ratna Bhanda Ghata Tahe Prahupula Kamala Nana Pakshi Kola Hala Sudha Samajala. These lakes had bathing places constructed with jewels, and they were filled with blossoming lotus flowers. There were various birds chirping, and the water was exactly like nectar. Sitala Samira Vahe Nana Gandha Lana Kanaira Natasala Pariyantala Ila Bandhina. The entire road was surcharged with many cool breezes, which carried the fragrances from various flowers. He carried the construction of this road as far as Kannai Natashala. Purport: Kannai Natashala is about 200 miles from Calcutta on the loop line in the Eastern Railway. The railway station is named Talajhadi, and after one gets off at the station, he has to go about 2 miles to find Kannai Natashala. Aage mana nahi chale na pare bhandite phata bhanda na yaya Narsimha haila vishmite. Within the mind of Narsimhananda Brahmachari, the road could not be constructed beyond Kannai Natashala. He could not understand why the road's construction could not be completed, and thus he was astonished. Nischaya Kariya Kahi Suna Bhaktagana Ebarena Ebena Prabhu Sri Vrindavana. With great assurance, he then told the devotees that Lord Chaitanya would not go to Vrindavana at that time. Purport: Srila Narsimhananda Brahmachari was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Therefore, when he heard that from Koliya Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was going to Vrindavana. Although he had no material wealth, he began to construct within his mind a very attractive path or road for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to traverse. Some of the description of this path is given above, but even mentally he could not construct the road beyond Kananatashala. Therefore, he concluded that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not go to Vrindavan at that time. For a pure devotee, it is same whether he mentally constructs a path or constructs one with his mind. This is because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janardana, is bhavagrahi or appreciative of the sentiment. For him, a path made with actual jewels and a path made of mental jewels are the same. Though subtle, mind is also matter. So any path, indeed anything for the service of the Lord, whether in gross matter or in subtle matter, is accepted equally by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord accepts the attitude of his devotee and sees how much he is prepared to serve him. The devotee is at liberty to serve the Lord either in gross matter or in subtle matter. The important point is that the service be in the relation with Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 9.26. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhakti prayachati tadaham bhakti upahartam asnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I will accept it. The real ingredient is bhakti, devotion. Pure devotion is uncontaminated by the modes of material nature. Ayatpuki aprahitaha. Unconditional devotional service cannot be checked by any material condition. This means that one does not have to be very rich to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even the poorest man can equally serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead if he has pure devotion. If there is no ulterior motive, devotional service cannot be checked by any material condition. Text 162. Kannanira Natashala Haite Asiba Pirhina Janibe Paschat Kahilo Nishchaya Karina. Narsimananda Brahmachari said, the Lord will go to Kannanatshala and then will return. All of you will come to know of this later, but I now say this with great assurance. Text 163. Goshai Kuliya Haite Chalila Vrindavana Sanges Saharsreka Lokayata Bhaktagana. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu began to proceed from Kuliya toward Vrindavana, thousands of men were with him, and all of them were devotees. Yahan Yaya Prabhu Tahan Koti Sankhya Loka Dekite Aishe Dekhi Khande Dukha Shoka. Wherever the Lord visited, crowds of innumerable people came to see him. When they saw him, all their unhappiness and lamentation disappeared. Text 165. Yahan Prabhura Charana Padaye Chelite Sri Mritika Laya Loka Gata Haya Phathe. Wherever the Lord touched the ground with his lotus feet, people immediately came and gathered the dirt. Indeed, they gathered so much that many holes were created in the ground, in the road. Text 166. Aiche Cheli Aila Prabhu Rama Keli Grama Gaudera Nikata Grama Aiti Anupoma. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eventually arrived at a village named Ramakeli. This village is situated on the border of Bengal and is very executive. Purport: Ramakeli Grama is situated on the banks of the Ganges on the border of Bengal. Sri Rupa and Sanatana Goswami had their residences in this village. Tahan Nritya Kare Prabhu Prema Achetana Koti Koti Loka Aise Dhekite Charana. While performing Sankirtana in Ramakeli Grama, the Lord danced and sometimes lost consciousness due to love of God. While at Ramakeli Grama, an unlimited number of people came to see his lotus feet. Text 168. Gaudeshwara Yavana Raja Prabhava Sunina kahite lagila kichu Vishmita Hana. When the Muslim king of Bengal heard of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's influence in attracting innumerable people, he became very much astonished and began to speak as follows. Purport: at that time, the Muslim king of Bengal was Nawab Hussain Shah Badshah. Vinadane eta loka andra pache haya seita goshani iha janiya nischaya. Such a person who is followed by so many people without giving them charity must be a prophet. I can surely understand this fact. Kaji avana iharana kariha himsana apana ichaya bulana yahan unharamana. The Muslim king ordered the magistrate, do not disturb this Hindu prophet out of jealousy. Let him do his own will wherever he likes. Purport: even a Muslim king could understand Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental position as a prophet. Therefore, he ordered the local magistrate not to disturb him, but to let him do whatever he liked. X171. Keshava Chatri re Rajavartha Puchila Prabhura Mahima Chatri Udaya Dila. When the Muslim king asked his assistant Keshava Chatri for news of the influence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Keshava Chatri, although knowing everything about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, tried to avoid the conversation by not giving any importance to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's activities. Purport: Keshava Chatri became a diplomat when questioned about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Although he knew everything about him, he was afraid that the Muslim king might become his enemy. He gave no importance to the Lord's activities so that the Muslim king would take him to be an ordinary man and would not give him any trouble. Bihakari Sanyasi Kari Thita Paryatana Tanre Dekhi Bare Aise Doi Chari Jana. Keshava Chatri informed the Muslim king that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a mendicant touring different places of pilgrimage and that as such only few people came to see him. Text 173. Yavane Tomara Tanhi Karaye Lagani Tanra him Saya Laba Nahi Haya Arahani. Keshava Chatri said, out of jealousy, your Muslim servant plots against him. I think that you should not be very interested in him, for there is no profit in it. Rather, he is simply lost. Rajare Prabhodhi Keshava Brahmana Phatana Chali Bara Tare Prabhure Pata Ila Khahina. After pacifying the king in this way, Keshava Chatri sent a Brahmana messenger to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requesting him to leave without delay.
So there is a new incident happening from the next verse, so we will stop here. So just to rewind and understand, this Muslim king is saying that, who is this person? He seems to be like a very big prophet. Who is he? Tell me. And this devotee of Mahaprabhu is telling the king, nah, he's no prophet or something, and I don't think he's of any importance to you. Just leave him. So just see, in devotional life also, devotees are using diplomacy and inaccuracy at least. We can't call it cheating. What is the motivation for that? Love. Does Mahaprabhu as the Supreme Lord, does he need protection from somebody's diplomacy? Or do you need to use cheating? Or do you need to downplay his influence, saying that, nah, he's not God or something? But this is that special flavor. Like Dasharath and Kausalya, when they saw Ram, that same mood came. Vasudeva and Devaki, in the prison house of Kamsa's kingdom, Krishna comes first as Narayan, full four-armed, weapons, opulence, everything. And Devaki prays to him. And he says, I have come here because of your prayers. For so many lives, both of you have served me as my eternal devotees. Once that mood is over, that same four-armed Vishnu, Narayan form, becomes a four-armed baby. And then becomes a two-armed normal baby. And then what happens? All that awe, reverence, majesty, there is a taste in that. Because bhakti means to relish. That taste goes away. And seeing that baby, suddenly Devaki is saying, Kamsa might kill you. Please. So the mood goes from, Lord, please protect me, to I need to protect this baby from Kamsa. So this is the cornerstone of what happens in the spiritual world. The whole spiritual realm is governed by the purest of sentiments. And when the sentiments are pure, life is more relishable. There is no obstacle, there is no defeat, there is no problem in spiritual life. And that should be the goal of our life. So we admit that there are problems here, we admit that there are obstacles here. So once seeing book distributors getting so much of difficulty in trying to distribute books, Prabhupada said, just do it for Krishna now. Then we all go back to Godhead and we simply enjoy there. So any last minute comments or questions before we wind up for the day?